Apostles. The title apostle comes from a Greek word that means one who is sent. In the New Testament, it refers first to the 12 men chosen by Jesus and sent out to preach the gospel. These 12 formed the foundation of the early church. They were witnesses of Christ's ministry, death, and resurrection. Their authority did not come from later recognition, but from Christ himself. Because of this, the apostles hold the highest place among the saints in the early liturgical tradition. In the ancient Roman calendar, feasts of the apostles were given great importance. They were usually celebrated with the highest rank because they were seen as the original teachers and founders of the church's mission. Over time, the term apostle was also used in a wider sense. Figures like Paul and Barnabas were called apostles because they were sent as missionaries. In later centuries, some missionaries were described as apostles of a nation, but in the strict liturgical sense, the title refers primarily to the New Testament apostles. Evangelists. The evangelists are closely connected with the apostles. The word comes from the Greek euangelion, meaning good news or gospel. In Christian tradition, the evangelists are the four writers of the Gospels: Matthew the Apostle, Mark the Evangelist, Luke the Evangelist, and John the Apostle. Their role in the church was unique. They recorded the life and teaching of Christ in written form. Through their work, the message of Jesus could be passed down accurately to later generations. In the early liturgy, evangelists were honored because their writings formed the core of Christian teaching and worship. The proclamation of the gospel during Mass comes directly from their work. Two of them, Matthew and John, were apostles themselves. Mark and Luke were not among the 12, but were closely connected with apostolic figures, Mark with Peter and Luke with Paul. Martyrs. The word martyr originally meant witness. In early Christianity, it came to mean someone who gave witness to Christ by dying for the faith. During the first 3 centuries, many Christians were executed during Roman persecutions. Those who remained faithful even in the face of death were remembered by the church with great honor. Martyrs were among the earliest saints officially remembered in the liturgy. The dates of their deaths were carefully recorded, and Christians gathered at their tombs each year to celebrate the Eucharist. These anniversaries eventually formed some of the earliest entries in the Roman calendar. Martyrdom was seen as the highest form of Christian witness because it reflected Christ's own sacrifice. Early Christians believed that martyrs shared in Christ's victory over death. Because of this, the category of martyr held a very high rank in early liturgical commemorations. Confessors. As persecutions ended in the 4th century, something changed. Christians were no longer dying in large numbers for their faith, but holy lives continued. The church needed a way to recognize saints who had not died as martyrs. This is where the title confessor appeared. A confessor is someone who openly confessed the Christian faith through their life, teaching, or suffering, but did not die for it. The term was first used for people who had suffered persecution but survived. Later, it expanded to include holy bishops, monks, and priests. Examples include Martin of Tours, Nicholas of Myra, Benedict of Nursia. Confessors became very common in medieval calendars because they represented holiness through pastoral care, monastic life, or charity. In liturgical books, their feasts usually had their own set of prayers distinct from martyrs. Doctors of the Church. The title Doctor of the Church developed later. The word doctor here means teacher. It comes from the Latin docere, meaning to teach. A doctor of the church is a saint recognized for extraordinary teaching that helped shape Christian theology. The title began in the Western Church with 4 great teachers: Augustine of Hippo, Jerome, Ambrose of Milan, Gregory the Great. These 4 were officially honored as doctors in the early Middle Ages. In the East, another group of great teachers was recognized: Basil the Great, Gregory of Nazianzus, John Chrysostom, Athanasius of Alexandria. Over time, the church added others whose writings deeply influenced theology, such as Thomas Aquinas, Bonaventure, and Teresa of Avila. Today, the Catholic Church recognizes 37 doctors. This title does not simply mean someone was intelligent. It means their teaching has lasting importance for the faith of the church. Popes. Many saints in the early Roman calendar were popes, meaning bishops of Rome who guided the church during difficult periods. Several early popes were also martyrs, especially during Roman persecutions. Because of this, the early church often remembered them both as popes and as martyrs. Figures such as Clement I and Leo the Great played important roles in shaping Christian doctrine and defending the unity of the church. The inclusion of popes in the Roman calendar reflects the importance of the Roman See in early Christian history. The Bishop of Rome was seen as a key guardian of apostolic tradition. Not every pope was canonized, but many of the early ones were remembered as saints because of their leadership during persecution and doctrinal disputes.